Hello everyone and welcome to the Pagan Federation 50th Anniversary Yule Festival held by the Pagan Federation and its community support team. We're here today just to have a Yule get together to just connect with people, share our traditions, talk about what we do at Yule. And we've also got Morgana here from PFI to do us a little bit of a presentation on the winter solstice. Morgana, shall I hand over to you?
You can hear me?
I can indeed, yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm just setting up the sharing, so here we go. So, hello everybody. This is Morgana. I'm actually based in the Netherlands, and Sarah and I have been working quite a lot recently. I'm from Pagan Federation International. So I was saying today that it would be very nice to share where we celebrate Yule or winter solstice here in the Netherlands. And what you're actually seeing now, winter solstice, the belofte van het terugkerende licht, that's Dutch, but means the promise of returning light. It's this idea of the promise of the returning light, which is extremely important to us, partly because when we remember winter solstice as being the longest night, and as the further you get to the north, the more it's important that the light comes back. In many of the sacred places throughout Europe, we see that the winter solstice is also incredibly important. It was certainly the case for people in Ireland, and what you're actually seeing in the background here is the a picture of Newgrange. And Newgrange, of course, is in Ireland. Many people think it's Celtic, but it predates the Celts by about 2,000 years. In fact, the Celts seem to be quite afraid of the people who built Newgrange. In fact, what we call the Beaker people, they were responsible for the Hunebed here in the Netherlands, are very similar to Newgrange. Anyway, as we think about the sun reaching its lowest point, it also reminds us of how important it is to be spiritually resilient. And I often remind people at winter solstice, think about the summer solstice when the sun was high, and try to again think about the internal sun, the internal light. So today we celebrate the festival of winter solstice, Yule, when the sun is at the lowest. This is the shortest day, the longest night. But we know the light will return. By our will and the will of the gods, the light will return. Here we see, by our will and the will of the gods, this is the collaboration, the working together we have with the gods. I always say we serve the gods, but we're not servants. We who are able to be the messengers between the gods. We also acknowledge the spirits of the land. And by acknowledging the spirits of the land, we also try to connect and to see how the land responds to us, but how we respond to the earth. Also, before the light returns, we need to remember those who have passed over this last year. Those we remembered our ancestors also at Samhain, at Halloween. Remember those that departed this earthly life. Again, we're still seeing so many people suffering from the effects of COVID. And today, especially, let's remember those who will be celebrating Christmas and Yule, winter solstice without their loved ones. Feel the dark like a warm blanket around you, the comfort of the dark earth. Feel at one with the earth. Slowly, you become aware that you are not alone. You are with more people. First, they are shadows, but gradually you see faces and recognize one or two. Greet them. We come together in circle. Imagine those standing next to you. Hold the circle in your imagination and take a large white candle and light it and say, Queen of the moon, Queen of the sun, Queen of the heavens, Queen of the stars, Queen of the water, Queen of the earth, who will conceive the seed of promise? It is the great mother who gives birth to it, and the Lord of life will return again. Darkness and tears are set aside when the sun shall come up early. Golden sun of hill and mountain, illumine the land, illumine the world, illumine the seas, illumine the rivers. Grief be laid and joy be praised. Blessed be the great mother, without beginning, without ending, from everlasting to eternity. Eo, Eo, blessed be. Eo, Eo, blessed be. Eo, Eo, blessed be. Feel the spark of life entering your whole being, illuminating every cell. Dance, the dance of life. When you are ready, take a glass, a chalice, and drink, remembering those who would seek to return, those who would once again would return and be born again. Toast to them, toast the gods, toast the returning light. Eat and drink and make merry. Be joyful. Blessed be. And blessings at winter solstice for everybody.
Thank you, Morgana. That was beautiful.
Well, I hope you liked it.
Lovely.
Remembering the Yule log, I also remember how we'd always get a Swiss roll, a chocolate one if possible.
Yep.
And put little candles in it and everything, and the children would love it. You know, they'd, oh, it's all going to fire, it's going to set a light. But we'd really enjoy it. But my mother, who was obviously in England, because I was born in I was born in Wales, but she would always come to the Netherlands with a huge suitcase full of all English Christmas treats, including crackers, and of course she'd sort of say, oh, this is what Santa Claus gave to me, to my daughter, and we'd have a beautiful, really traditional English Christmas. But again, the Yule log was so important to all of us. So those are my remembrances of, you know, how children really love all the candles at Christmas time. And of course now we have our Yule log, and I often have a wheel, which instead of having a Christmas tree, I have a Yule wheel with greenery and 4 candles, and then a center candle which I will light again on our winter solstice evening. So that's how we celebrate.
I have something similar that goes on my table when we eat dinner. I have a little wheel that goes in the middle with 4 candles and a centre one. So, yeah, the kids love the lights.
So how do you all celebrate? How do you celebrate? Jenny, how do you celebrate Yule?
Well, usually Yule is spent with the ladies that I circle with. I facilitate the Kent Goddess group, so we've got quite a group of ladies, but this year we're doing something a little bit different. I've been involved in a kind of year-long artistic event called the Sea Goodsberries, and it's the idea that 200 sea goodsberries have been released around Folkestone, Hythe and New Romney, and we're going to be bringing them all together on the 19th at Folkestone at the Sunny Sands. So my role as a guardian, it's part of a quest sort of thing. There's 50 boxes where people can go and find little cards with song fragments. But when we bring everyone together in a socially distanced way, of course, on the beach, there's going to be fire and there's going to be feasting. And it's just going to be a really lovely way to bring the local community together. So not everybody involved in this is pagan, but yeah, my role as a gooseberry has been has been to talk about it and to look after the quest boxes and get people involved. So it's just been something really a little bit different this year, but equally really lovely after the year we've had.
I can't wait to see pictures of this. Great. Would anyone else like to share how they'll be celebrating?
Well, I should be. Oh, hang on.
We can hear you, Anne.
Can you? Splendid. Yep. I shall be going to a friend's farm, and we'll have a huge bonfire and lots of alcohol and lots of food and just lots of laughter, really. And that'll be our Yule celebration.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm kicking off tonight with some live music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Going to see my favourite band.
I was supposed to be having a Yule dinner with friends today, and they've decided with all this COVID shit, they're not going to have it, and we're going to have drinks online.
Okay.
But it's not going to be quite the same, is it?
It won't be quite the same, no. No, I'm getting together with a friend on Tuesday. We're going to do a little ritual between us in the park in the local town. We're going to go up there, and I shall be up for the sunrise on Wednesday morning with my drum.
In Cambridge, there's a group of people that are going to go through the town as Old Father Yule and various other things, and they're going to go through the town with they've made some little sort of leaflety things, and they're going to give them to people as they go through the town, singing I'm a winter spirit, called by many a name. But unfortunately, I can't go, which is a bit poo, but there you go.
Anybody else want to share what they're doing?
No.
What are your favourite traditions then? What are your, even if you're not doing them this year, what are your favourite Yule traditions?
Well, going to the farm for me is a thing that I've been doing for 15 years. So that is pretty much a tradition, really, that I meet with this group of people when we have a laugh. Yeah.
We get bags of like hot chocolate and sweets and lovely yummy things, and we get books and films, and we have a family evening. I think that's my favourite tradition, is that everyone is together and willing to sit in the same room and do something together. That's one of my favourite things.
We because my son's a paramedic and I've got another son that works for the police force. Both of my boys, they 9 times out of 10 are working, because that week, this week, because normally lots of people are having parties, so there's lots of accidents. But this week and next week, with doing overtime, they can earn a month's salary in just under a week.
Wow.
And they get the bank holidays off in lieu, which is just crazy money. But I wouldn't be doing it.
Well, the job that they do, I don't think, you know, that it takes a special kind of someone to do that kind of work, doesn't it? So.
Well, they're my boys, so of course they're special, Sarah.
Does anyone else have any favourite traditions?
One of our traditions that we have for Yule, and I really like what Kat was saying about creating new traditions. I think it's such an important thing to do. But one of our traditions was kind of taken from Bridget Jones's diary.
Okay.
In that our Yule feast is everything in miniature. So we have a miniature buffet. And we always said that around the summer solstice, we should do large versions of everything, you know, like a giant Jaffa cake or something.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that of just coming together and spending time with people. I think for people that celebrate Christmas, perhaps with secular families sort of thing, it tends to be very much about the stuff sort of thing, you know, about trying to make things perfect. Whereas I think with Yule, it's more about the people and celebrating friendships.
Definitely.
And being together and, you know, waiting for that light to return.
Definitely.
So I think new traditions are a lovely thing to explore.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do both in our house. I'm the only pagan, so we do Yule, but we also do a secular Christmas as well. So it's kind of, it starts on Monday and it goes through, you know, till New Year. So it's quite a couple of weeks of celebrations, but it does the little traditions that we've got, like the boxes of treats and PJs and things that we do, and the family meals that we have and things like that, makes it all. So it's those things, it's the coming together, like you say, of people, that's my favourite bit. I see Hazel's joined us. Hi, Hazel.
Hi. How are you?
Nice to have you with us. Well, very well, thank you. Has anyone got any Yule stories that they'd like to share? All quiet. Did any of you see
some of them aren't perhaps for live broadcast.
Did anyone see the solstice badger that Chris, the Children and Families Manager, read for us earlier?
Oh, that was absolutely beautiful.
It's a beautiful story, isn't it? Beautiful story.
And of course, that's why the crow is still black.
One of my favourites, I did a video for last year's Yule Festival. I'll have to see if I can find the link. Was about La Befana. She's an Italian old lady who delivers sweet treats to the children every year. That's a really lovely story as well. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find
But that's not until the end of all the celebrations.
It's not, is it?
It's in January.
My son loves that story though.
Oh yeah.
He's made me read it to him about 5 times in the last 4 days. So
Well, that's all right. I get on my youngest child is now 36, and I can still read Over the Engine without looking at it from when he was little. They like Over the Engine.
Yeah.
I know Thomas too well as well, unfortunately, really.
We used to have a set of Thomas books. There were loads of them, about 40 different little stories. He's not so keen on those these days. It's growing up.
Oh dear. Well, my youngest son, he was so into it, he actually became, because not that far from here, there's a steam railway for sort of visitors and things, the Cold Valley Steam Railway, and he became a proper steam engine driver, so he can drive proper trains.
Wow. No, my father-in-law would be quite jealous of that. He was a big railway fan. Well, if he was still with us, he would be anyway. He was a big railway fan.
Yeah.
He lived on the Devon coast, so the rail line that goes around the coastline was a big favourite. He used to volunteer with them quite a bit as well. So.
Yeah. I remember taking my little one to see one of those steam engines. Can't remember exactly where it was, but it was a long time ago. We went there. She loved it. And it was winter time, was very cold.
Yeah, we've got like a steam railway museum thing near us. And there's the old lines that they used to use for industry, because it's quite where I live is quite industrial, was quite industrial, so we had a lot of mines and a lot of mills, and you know, we've got a lot of canals and old railways and stuff, so they decided to use some of the railway lines to create like a tribute to steam railway, and they do a Christmas special every year where you can go up, and they have Thomas there, and you can ride a steam train to this little piece of land in the woodland where they hang loads of pretty lights, and they have lots of displays and lots of little handcrafted shops there and things like that. It's really quite magical. Do love a good steam train.
Well, I was going to say quite a few of the steam railways do that. They do one up at Sheringham.
Do they?
In Norfolk, yeah. Only they do actually have Father Christmas.
Yeah, we do have Father Christmas as well.
Each child gets a gift from Father Christmas, and each adult gets a glass of sherry and a mince pie.
Oh, can't complain at that.
Well, no, but it's about 40 quid a pop.
Oh, crikey. Oh, no, it's nothing like that. Whereas it's like £5 a head.
My father was a train driver, and he started on steam. He actually started as a fireman, which is the guy who stokes the fire, which was backbreaking because you'd have to shovel a ton of, I think it's about 1.5 tons of coal to get up one particular hill.
Yeah.
And then he became and then he actually drove them. But he said he wasn't too sorry to see the back of them because they were dirty and dangerous. But,
yeah, I can imagine.
But we have the Romney, Hythe and Dymchurch railway down here, the sort of narrow gauge one, but it goes from Hythe down to Dungeness, so it's quite a long way.
There's still quite a lot of it around in the UK, isn't there? And I do like doing that at Christmas when we can. It's not been on the last couple of years. But,
yeah, I don't know whether Sheringham's have got their Santa Express this year. Anyway, I'll tell you I've just thought of a little story I can tell you.
Go on then. Tell us a story, Anne.
As you know, or as you might not know, I'm a Morris dancer. And on Plough Monday, which is 6 days after the 1st of January, it's the first Monday after the New Year. So this year, it's the 10th of January. And we go, and that's traditionally when the farm workers go back to work, because years ago, that Christmas period, they had quite a long holiday. And when they go back to work, they get the local vicar to bless the plough, and the local Morris side has the plough and goes round the village, and they intimidate, that's a good word for it, intimidate all the villagers. And they dance for the plough, and the villagers have to give you money or beer.
That's a good exchange.
Otherwise that they use the plough to plough up your front garden. And this happens all over the place, but we do it in a place called in a little Norfolk village called Northwold. obviously we don't actually dig up anybody's garden, but anything like that. But we get quite a good crowd come and just do it, which is quite fun. And we have mulled wine and mince pies and stuff. And so the only downside for me personally is the fact the vicar blesses the pie. And that's done outside the local church. But hey ho.
Sounds great. We have a at one of the canals. We have a Boxing Day raft race where people get on rafts that they've built at home and try and get down the canal from one place to another. And it's a great day, but I wouldn't like to be one of the people in the rafts. It's freezing.
Similarly, in Folkestone on Boxing Day, we have the Boxing Day dip, where everybody runs into the sea, mostly dressed as Santa, but you do get a couple of other costumes, and that's always really fun to watch them all running in and then running out really cold afterwards.
On the Norfolk coast, that happens quite a bit. Although this year, for whatever reason, the Hunstanton dip has been cancelled. But there's one at Sea Pooling, which is quite interesting because that's where all the grey seals, all the baby grey seals are. So hopefully a grey seal and a swimmer won't get together, but you never know, you love.
Yes, Morgana's just reminded me about Dave the Bard. Of course, Dave the Bard's part of my tradition every year. You can't have a festival without a bit of Dave the Bard.
Yeah, I was just going to, but we're out live streaming at the moment, so I'm not sure there is copyright on this, so I didn't post it actually, because, but he really has got a load of, I mean, we've had him at a couple of the PFI meetings especially in the Czech Republic.
Yep.
So he's very, very pro, and I think he wouldn't mind us actually promoting this song either, but just to be erring on the side of caution. But yeah, it's a really great song. And I know there are some of the pagan different renditions of like the 12 Days of Christmas or what have you. Some of them can be quite rock. And not for public consumers or consumption at the moment. Trying to get banned off your Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, we're not on Facebook, so that's fine.
Well, we kind of are because we're shared to our events. So
Exactly. I've just shared it to our PFI Lowlands and to PFI proper, so people will be joining in because of course you can actually see it later. So that's why I'm saying. Be wary of what you say. It'll be written down and forever held against you. Yeah,
that is a worry with all this online stuff, though, isn't it? You might say something and you think, oh my god, why did I say that?
Well, yes,
it's there forever.
Yeah, I think that is a thing with online things.
I mean, I can remember as a teenager, I'm just so grateful that things weren't online like they are now. I am so grateful because so much would come back and bite me on the bum.
Oh, I think we can all give a prayer of thanks for that, can't we, Ad?
That we lived our youth before the digital world began. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can think of a few things that I wouldn't want to be put online.
Well, Sarah and I have been working together recently, also with Steffi and Linda Haggerston, of course, from PF Scotland, and we've been doing quite a lot of work on anti-discrimination, anti-pagan discrimination, and it's still, it's a lot of the things that we do, but when we call ourselves people of the earth, then we just don't have the problems, simply because it's much more generic. But the word pagans can still be very, very, it can just be a red flag for a lot of people.
It can.
And, we do a lot of interfaith work, and it's so sad because when you do look at our rituals, especially for, the solstices, the 8 quarter, the 8 seasonal festivals, including the cross-quarter days. You know, there are so many things which are so universal. As I say, you know, celebrating winter solstice at Newgrange more than 3,000 years ago, the alignment. There is, by the way, if you want to watch the Newgrange winter solstice, there will be live streaming from, I think, about the 19th. If I can find it, I'll put the link in the chat for you. It's quite good. And of course, Stonehenge often does winter solstice as well. Last year it was a bit cloudy. So sometimes if if we're really lucky, but the Newgrange one is really, I was at Newgrange and they did a simulation of the winter solstice, you know, the rays of the sun entering into the chamber, and it was quite, even the simulation was amazing. So, you know, it's absolutely pitch black, and then suddenly this shaft of light enters the chamber and kind of hits this spiral at the back. Although when they're live streaming with you don't actually see that happen. You see the shaft of light coming into the chamber. But when this happened, I had this real sort of really wheezy feeling. I'm not being sexist here, but a lot of women will recognize it when I say, you know, when you've conceived, you know, when it's kind of premenstrual, sort of bit weird feeling. And I actually said to the guide, you know, I had the feeling as soon as this light entered the chamber, it was almost as if the goddess was being, you know, conceived. You know, it was like the earth was being pregnated or impregnated. And this guy looked at me and sort of took me aside immediately and sort of said, officially, no, unofficially, absolutely right. So even she couldn't sort of say that it was actually the sun or impregnating the earth and, you know, new life being conceived. So it wasn't just the promise of returning light, but it was also the very fact that because the first shaft of the light would actually be that which actually is the begins the process of birth. And I know many pagans celebrate the birth of the god at winter solstice, and to me that's kind of weird, because what's born at this time of the year, what they forget, the very first part of the whole process of birth begins with conception. And that to me is exactly what winter solstice is all about. It's actually about conception, because it begins, you know, you cannot, birth doesn't just begin with, you know, plopping out. If it did, we'd all been in a lot of trouble. You know, I think kangaroos are the only ones who actually have the embryo actually in the pouch, and they take it sort of out and then plop it in. It's kind of weird, but we do forget. There is. That's why I always remind people about the reaffirmation of life we have at Samhain, and this period of repose, and then we come back with a stronger body and renewed, rejuvenated, reborn. But it has to begin with the actual return and coming back into this kind of earthly realm.
But yeah, I definitely I completely agree with you there. And this is the time of year where a lot of seeds are being planted because they've fallen from their plants and they're now working their way into the earth. And this is the moment where they take hold, isn't it? Where they're under the ground, and then in the spring there's a lot of work to do between now and then. Absolutely.
And we're all born in, or the birth process is always in the dark. Always in the dark, you know, whether it's amniotic waters which surround us, but it's absolutely, you know, we are born in, and which is why a lot of our rituals begin with the evening. Of course, we always celebrate first going into the dark and then the dawn, which is the summum of you know, our magical work, or whether it's, and again this year it coincides also with full moon, which is like today, and again it emphasizes this contact we have with the moon and the powers of water, you know, the gravitational pull of the moon. So this year, of course, Yule is really, really very much concerned with water, with very much concerned with this gravitational pull of the moon. So yeah, good time for magical work, my dears.
It is.
And,
it is indeed.
And of course, the emotions. The water
Yes.
is the emotions,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. You know,
And we are definitely going through an emotional time right now. Everyone.
Oh God,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. You know, it's hard again. I was just saying that to Sarah. You know, again in the Netherlands, we're heading to a Christmas with, you know, only 4 people allowed to visit. You know, this is horrendous. It's the second year, and even I, who you know, I don't really mind too much, and I don't celebrate big family events, what have you. I have a very small family, but even now it's like, oh no, and I'm trying to be happy, I'm trying not to get depressed, but it's just getting so you know. So I wish everybody, you know, let's think about those people who really are very lonely and can't have any members or visitors or what have you. You know, it's just it's a sad world we're living in, and so let's, you know, join together and hope that we can share a little bit of that joy.
Absolutely. That's kind of what today is about, sharing a little bit of that joy and
I was going to say,
reaching out and connecting to people.
Not everybody has big circles of family and friends to rely on. That's something the pagan community is quite good at. You know, if you put your head above the parapet, as it were, there is a sense of community. We do feel that we're family almost.
Yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely.
And I think where we've started doing things online, and I think that really the Pagan Federation was way before the curve of all of this, reaching out to sort of disabled people sort of thing. And I know that's a very real fear within disabled communities, is that when things do return to normal, that all of this will be forgotten about sort of thing.
Absolutely.
But certainly not
it is.
By the PS.
Yeah, it is.
But it won't be, will it, Sarah?
No, it won't. I mean, I'm a carer, so I'm not quite as restricted as the person that I care for, but I am almost as restricted because I care for them. And we, you know, a lot of people forget that people like us live lockdown every winter, because even the, you know, the slightest cold could make my care ill and put him in hospital. So you know, there's a lot of people out there that forget that there's people like us for who this is quite normal, actually. And that we live it year in, year out. You know, we get to go out in the summer, but as soon as the weather turns even slightly cold and people start snuffling and spreading germs, it really restricts what we can do, where we can go and who we can do it with. And I think that's something that I'm really keen. I know the PF have been doing it for a long time. 2016 was when we first started doing online festivals, so we've been doing it for 5 years, and it's something that I'm really keen to make sure continues to happen, because of my own experience of knowing how it feels to not be able to go anywhere, to not be able to connect with your friends and your family, to you know, have to put that kind of thing before gathering with people and celebrating with them. So it's definitely something that I'm keen to continue and shall encourage while ever I'm here. Okay, thank you very much for joining us all, folks. We're going to leave it there for today, and we'll carry on with the festival. There's lots more left to come. So thank you very much to all the people here on the call with me for joining me. Have a blessed solstice, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever your traditions are, and we'll see you on the other side. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Happy Yule.